Hey, video friend, I love it when you send me your questions about style and about fashion, about planning, about seasons and capsules and all that. And I got a great question from my friend Carol at The Stylish Maker. And I'm going to have to look over here, obviously, to share it with you. But her question is, got any tips, I guess maybe it's a question, got any tips for not getting bored with your wardrobe when it's still cold right through spring? And so Carol lives in New Zealand. I live in Georgia. And so we are actually flip-flop for seasons, right? Because in the Southern Hemisphere, they are waiting for spring. And here I am waiting for fall. And what happens is some of the same things that I do for fall, if I just flip-flop them to the other hemisphere or think about how they can be flip-flopped if they need to be, will hopefully work for you, Carol, and anybody else who's struggling. I mean, I think of it as Groundhog Day, like it's just the day that never ends or the winter that never ends. Where I grew up, we had winter that never ended. And now I have summer that never ends, right? So what do you have when your shoulder seasons are being held off in a kind of a Groundhog Day spirit? So we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you 4 tips. I am Liz Kleba from closetplayimage, where we are all about bright ideas for your style and your wardrobe, and this is just what we do here. I believe that style is for every day, not just for special occasions, and I want you to feel your most stylish and be happy when you open your closet door. It should feel like your friends are in there, right? So yeah, let's get on 4 tips. And what makes me sad is that there's 4, there's not 3, there's not 5. Like, I love the odd number, and so I'm stuck with 4 today. So I might have been able to tweak it and make it 5, but let's just be realistic. It's 4 tips. So number 1, and this isn't even a tip. This is really where you need to start. But here, let me reach this. You need some inspiration. What is your inspiration for the coming season? So we want to look at what you're wishing for to come. We're not thinking about what your inspiration was for the last season, because you've been stuck in that forever. And so we want to do a little anticipatory, right? So think about what you want for the next season, because that will kind of direct your thoughts as you are still dressing for winter, but jonesing for spring, or still dressing for summer and jonesing for fall. So you think about where you want to go for the coming season. And hopefully that's easy because you're wishing it would be here, right? So maybe that means you're doing Pinterest. Maybe it means you have a notebook where you keep things. Maybe you have a file on your phone of style inspiration, whatever it is. Look at it kind of as a big picture. If it's on your phone, I would highly suggest saving it into Pinterest, because that way you can look at a bunch of it rather than looking at individual images. So let me put this down. So look at what you're jonesing for the next season, right? And so these 4 tips are going to have to do with that next coming season that you're anticipating, that you're wishing with your whole heart that would get here, right? So number 1, think about color and texture. Think about color and texture. So for me, the pinks of my summer are going to be combined with the wines of fall. So even though those items are lightweight, or I don't even know what the word is I want to use. They may be light in weight. It's not like I'm going to break out a pair of wine-colored boots, but maybe a pair of wine-colored sandals or a pair of wine-colored flats, right? Something that works for the season I'm in, but anticipates color-wise the season where I'm heading. So for example, if you're in the cold weather season, maybe you've got your blue Doc Martens and your pink Doc Martens. Well, maybe you have a pair of white floral Doc Martens. So maybe it's like, ooh, that's where I'm headed. So let's grab those lighter colors and textures out. So for example, I'm wishing it was fall. These espadrilles are still perfectly appropriate for the weather that I'm having, but I've replaced them with a pair of just plain ballet flats, plain navy blue ballet flats. So I'm getting rid of the textures, the ropey textures, the baskety textures, and I'm replacing them, with leathers, woven leathers. So let's think the opposite way for the Southern Hemisphere. And I'm about to, excuse me. I don't know what it is. Every time I turn on the camera, the nose starts to itch, the sneezes come out, all the things. So maybe in that case, maybe you want to go, you know what? I'm going to break out a basket bag. I'm going to start carrying a basket and I'm going to change my shoes up a little, right? Maybe I'm going to do something different in that department. Maybe you don't want to go all the way to basket bag. Maybe like a woven leather bag would feel lighter than your regular leather bag. So, and this is all kind of that thinking in threes piece, where this plays in to create that transition across the seasons. Some people have very kind of split personality wardrobes where their fall winter wardrobe is very, very dark and very much one, like all neutrals, and then they have a very bright and cheerful spring and summer wardrobe, and it's like this is kind of where they can kind of disconnect. And so if you have that thinking in threes across the seasons, then it can really help you create that transition between winter and spring or summer and fall. Okay, so yes, think color, think texture. Let me take a peek. I've got, So that could be in thinking color as well. Maybe you create a tiny little spring capsule, and I don't mean in clothing. Maybe this is an accessory bundle. Maybe it's a little spring accessory bundle. So maybe your accessory bundle has florals in it. Maybe it has butterflies or birds, right? Maybe it's a thematic bundle. Maybe it's a color bundle. Could just be a color bundle. Maybe you're ready for some light pinks rather than the deeper pinks you've been wearing all year. Or maybe you're ready for some beautiful, lovely corals rather than the darker, if your coloring is warm. Maybe you've been wearing the darker corals and the rusts all winter long. Excuse me. So think about creating yourself a little tiny color bundle or theme bundle that goes along with that. And we'll talk more about theme here in just a little bit. But maybe you've got a top in a color that's a lighter and you can manage with that. Maybe it's scarves, maybe it's earrings, something easy and inexpensive. So makeup, let's talk about makeup. Lipstick therapy, right? Maybe it's time to shake up your makeup for the season. Take a look at what's trending, right? In the fall, we tend to go for deeper colors. We tend to go for smokier eyes, right? And so I've broken out kind of a deeper lip color. And so I've been wearing that a little bit more rather than the much lighter, more sheer colors that I wear in the summer, right? I might wear a really bright, bold red lip with just basically only mascara in the summer as well. And so that'll also transition very easily into fall. But think about your makeup. Probably not going to change the skincare because the weather is still cold, but maybe just a lighter lipstick, a lighter shade in a lipstick, maybe a lighter, something to reflect that lightness of the coming season. Or in my case, the deepening of the season. So yeah. 3, think about layering under. So remember what I said about we're jonesing for that new season, right? So what is it that you want? Maybe it's a lovely floral dress. So maybe you could break that dress out of storage and layer a merino under it and some tights and boots. Maybe it's the kind of summer dress that will work for maybe it's that kind of dress that can work if it's layered under. We so often, when the weather is cold, so I'm thinking now about layering over, right? Creating over layers for that more fall winter look. But sometimes we can just layer under. So grab that dress, put a little merino under it with the tights and the boots, and then an open cardigan rather than, a cozy pullover, and you'll still have your same warmth, but you'll have a lighter, breezier look for spring. Even if you're still wearing boots. Yep, it's okay. So there we go, layering under. So we talked about color/texture, right? We talked about makeup. We've talked about layering under, and now let's talk about theme, because this is really this relates back to the one about color and texture and little baby bundle maybe. So maybe it's time to create yourself, like I said, a thematic bundle. Maybe it's about, for me, fall leaves and whatever. Maybe for spring for you, it's about birds and flowers. So break out those flower accessories. Maybe you have a fabulous flower. Oh, Carol, I can imagine you making a pearl flower with your wire and a big pearl flower pendant. Maybe that would be fun. So I have, so this necklace, for example, here, it's actually feathers here. I don't normally wear a whole lot of gold, but I will break out a little bit of burnished gold for fall and for spring because it feels right for the season, even though it's not the best thing for my coloring, but then I make sure I wear it with colors that are good for my coloring. And I'll break that out and go with that theme. So this kind of golden and leafy theme feels fall-y to me, even though I'm still in shorts and a shirt that I wore all summer long. In the summer, I probably would have worn it with some turquoise and some silver, but it feels a little more fall-y with the darker, with the hematite hoops and the gold, right? Feels a little bit darker, a little bit more fall-y, especially with the lipstick, right? And so that's a key piece, is mixing and matching, combining these four things, not just relying on one of them, but kind of pulling together what works for you, and you'll get that next season look, whether that's for fall or spring, for example. And then look carefully at that board that you created. So I'm going to, on my board, there's this image here, and I'm going to put it up here, right there. So what did that do? That inspired me to grab my my jacket, my barn jacket, and I pulled out a couple of brooches, pulled out a couple of gold brooches. And this one's gold and silver, gold and black, gold and brown, right? Some brooches on my jacket. It's just a little thing, but when I throw on my jacket, I'm gonna feel more in the season. Right now, for me, that theme is gonna involve next week's video, which will be going through my scarves. I've got my box of scarves here. Yes, I have way too many scarves. So someone who wants a more minimal wardrobe, I have way too many scarves. I will own that. I have way too many. But I'm also okay with it because they all fit in this box, and that's that. And because I love scarves, they're a signature for me. It's not a big deal for me to have a few more. At some point, some more are gonna go. And maybe even when I go through this, maybe I'll release some more into the wild. But think about that theme. Think jewelry, think about prints on your clothing, think about scarves. Think about scarves. Some are gonna feel more fall-y, some are gonna feel more springy. So maybe it's time to look through the scarves you have, Carol, and go, oh, I know you wear mostly jewelry, but you also wear scarves. So let's look through those scarves. Maybe it's time to find the ones that have more of the springy themes versus some others. So, or springier colors, and then mix and match that with what you're already doing right now. So again, to review, we talked about color and texture, we talked about makeup, we talked about layering under, and we talked about kind of theme. Make sure you're pulling those pieces, that feel thematically for the season. Yeah, very Miranda Priestley when she says, oh, florals for spring, groundbreaking, right? No, not at all. But if it works, let's run with it, right? It's one of those things. If it works, run with it. So yeah, so that's kind of, here, okay. Another example of color and texture. So we have these kind of nude, got the espadrille with the rope heel. These have made their way out of my wardrobe and have been replaced with another shoe, another heel. And I don't have it with me right near. Hold on. Actually, you know what? I'll just put a picture of it right there. So you can see they're very similar. This shoe here is also very airy in the sense that my feet won't get super hot and sweaty, but it's definitely more structured, more closed, and more fall versus summer. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Let me know in the comments below. Carol, hope this works for you. Give these some thought. What is it you're jonesing for spring. What is it that you want from spring that you're not getting from your wardrobe now? And let's figure out a way to add those things. Maybe it's that color, maybe it's the textures, maybe it's a little bit of the makeup, maybe it's the underlayering, maybe it's the theme, right? Those are 4 ways, and you can mix and match all of those to create something that feels more new season without really changing the weather outside, right? It gets you into that feeling without having to worry about the seasonality of what is going on outside your windows. So yeah, hopefully that helps. If you are struggling with style and wardrobe questions, please drop them below. I love to help. Stay safe and sound sane and stylish, and thank you for spending a few minutes with me today, because your time is precious and any of it you spend with me is a gift. Bye. Oh, and do the like and subscribe thing because it's YouTube. You know how this works. Thank you. Bye.